This video is sponsored by you. Links for the channel are in the description, along with the Discord, which you should join. Hi, I'm SUPAH, Arknights' most hated YouTuber. Did you know that this game has bad skills? Meta players say it does, and so do I. I believe that until proven useful, every generic skill like Attack Up Gamma, Swift Strike Gamma, and even Defense Up Gamma mean that Operator has one less skill. And that's why I fight for you help channel on the Arknights official Discord server. Better call SUPAH! Let's set some rules for this video. Generic skills not allowed, despite what I just said. 2. Having a bad skill does not mean the operator itself is bad. This video is not about the operators that have these skills, it's about the skills themselves. And thus, we won't cover skills that are made bad by something else in the operator's kit. The experience of using Marcille skill tree is only matched by Tetanus. However, it itself is not a bad skill. It gets screwed over by the mana system it is in an abusive relationship with. Another example, Frostleaf skill 1, atrocious, not valid for this list, since it's only trash due to the talent messing with skill cycles. This skill is a victim. Last rule, only one skill per operator. Otherwise, half of this would be Vulpisfoglia. Seriously, what the fuck happened? Hack skill 2, type Gamma Stimpack. You see, there is a lot of mediocre skills in this game. Skills that are not worth using due to being underwhelming. But here, I'm looking for the real backwards ass counterintuitive piece of shit skills, like this. Hack will deal 500 damage to a unit 15 times, and then increase the max HP and defense of himself and that unit by 80% for 30 seconds. This is dog water for 2 reasons. When you put down your trusty Hoshiguma with her wet toe grippers, it's usually because you tried bursting down whatever threat she needs to tank and it didn't work out. This means that often a tank needs to tank for way more than the 30 seconds this skill provides. And if you can burst down the threat in that time window, chances are you don't need a tank to begin with and a staller will do the job. In other words, if you put down a tank, it is usually to stall threats for very extended periods of time that the skill doesn't cover. And for the time windows that it would cover, just raw Unga Bunga DPS or stallers will do the job. The second reason that the most observant among you may have noticed is that the prime target for a defense buff would be someone that is lacking that defense. However, if you use this on those targets, they will fucking die. Most units that would love to have this will not pass the vibe check. Sure, you can use Shining to make them tank it, but you know, at that point you're using Shining already. SUPAH from the future here. There is one, count it, one use for Hack skill 2, and that is with Bubble, because with her skill 2, her damage scales based on her defense. In other words, Hack skill 2 functions like Hack skill 3 on Bubble. But even then, you're better off using Shining, because she gives more defense and for a longer period of time. Seriously, that's it for Hack skill 2, to the point I had genuine trouble recording footage for this. Vulpisfoglia skill 2, Damoclean Interrogation, makes me doubt the existence of a benevolent god. Let me tell you, between this and the gains 1 DP skill, it was a tough call, but in the end skill 2 just has more wrong with it, to the point it's actually kind of unusable. Vulpisfoglia was clearly made with skill 3 in mind and nothing else. Something like, alright boss, we put our best minds to work and after weeks of efforts we came up with Vulpisfoglia skill 3. It's a miracle of Arknights design, I tell you. It synergizes with both talents. That usually doesn't happen. Amazing. Tell the raccoons at the coding department they did a great job. What about the other skills? That's what I wanted to ask, boss. What about them? I don't know, make some random shit up, risking a big skill 2. It's not like anyone's gonna use those things. Also, remember Vigil skill 2, the one that makes 2 DP? There's still room to go lower, you know. The problems with this skill are many. The DP generation is ass. The damage is ass. Doesn't even have true AoE. The synergy with Suzuran is really forced. And even then, the crowd control is not that good. And, perhaps most importantly, it costs 20 SP. This thing should cost 10 SP at absolute most, but I guess the tariffs hit Nuova Volsini as well. 20 SP on a skill like this might as well mean Vulpisfoglia needs a 2-week notice and a kiss on the cheek from Penance before ever using this skill. So, in the end, this is a skill that is just not worth using. It's slow like seen on sedatives, and for it you don't get anything. Quartz skill 2 all-out clash makes me a little sad. The name of the skill implies this is her giving it her all, going all out, just this once, master. And damn, her best is like half a Popukar. Now, Crushers, I've actually been hearing they're a good archetype apparently, amazing archetype, really wondrous. We love having 0 defense actually. But you see, 0 defense means a few things. Thanks to their HP pool as big as the actual Pacific Ocean, they can tank some pretty heavy stuff, but fold like a My Little Pony shirt against waves of fodder. Just in general, they're pretty susceptible to damage. That's why Wind Chimes and Hoderer have Sanctuary, why Ulpianus has literally just defense but better, and why Quartz skill 2 increases damage taken by 25%, obviously. Don't get me wrong, it deals decent damage. She has a chance to stun with every attack, which is 1% lower than Gummy's passive talent, by the way. But you know, man, she's not gonna live to see that. Like the child of anti-vax parents, her life expectancy is quite short. This is counterintuitive to the whole archetype. You make a glass cannon and then turn them into a wet sand cannon. Why would you do this? With the new Crownslayer module making her actually decent, video on that soon by the way, I have to put skill 2 SMOKEBOMB Blast. You've heard it before, I'll keep it brief. This skill feels like it was made by 10 developers all in one big polycule, each one wanting something different from this skill, and in the end it is good at none of it. There's 2 roles here, a gravel power creep and a mob clearer, and they are fighting for 3rd place. In the end, this skill is stretched so thin that it's not good at anything. It's also quite uncomfortable to use with the 8-second wait before she really does anything. Pramanix skill 1, Echolocation. But SUPAH, aren't you breaking your own established rules here? This is bad because of the time. Yes, shut up, twink. I chose this skill because no one talks about it. I don't know why, because this is really silly. So I feel like I was chosen by God to deliver this message to you. This skill allows Pramanix to hit 2 targets, and reduces the attack speed of enemies in range by 60. The attack speed debuff is good, don't get me wrong, but out of everything you could debuff, I wouldn't choose attack speed most of the time. You know who I am and when I come from. I wouldn't choose attack speed for a simple reason. If you need your operators to stay alive, you debuff enemy attack. If you need your operators to kill the enemies, you debuff their defense or resistance. Movement speed is in the middle. It both helps your operators kill enemies and not be killed by the enemies. Attack speed is kind of in limbo. It does the same thing as debuffing attack, but in a roundabout way. The enemies attack less often, so your operators can survive easier. The only situation where it really matters is against gimmicks that rely on the number of enemy attacks, which are few and far between, let's just say that. The issue is the first half. A cool effect if it wasn't for her E2 talent, which does the same thing but passively. And no, this doesn't mean that with skill 1 Pramanix now hits 3 targets. It means that the E2 talent overrides half of skill 1. This skill loses half of its effect when you E2 Pramanix. As far as I know, this is the only instance of this happening in the entire game. It's so fucking stupid. Catapult skill 1, blast range up alpha. I know this looks like a generic skill, but as far as I can tell, no one else in the game has this, meaning that by technicality it is not a generic skill. All it does is increase the AoE range of her attacks. No attack buff, nothing else, just increases the AoE. You literally never need this effect. There is a reason that this skill never made a triumphant comeback on another operator. It is by far the one most useless fucking skill in the entire game. And that's all. I'm sure there is a lot of skills that I missed, and I would love to hear all about it in the comments. Despite what I say sometimes, I do read all of them, very often to my own detriment. Max out your Gummy. Bye. Thank you to Ichigods, Destin Furry, Boreas, Mr. Lair, Daniel Raptor, Woodod Leon, Seishin, Joseph Dia, Matthew Nemo, Zephyrinix, Nupo, Lord Takeo, Lizard King, Nemotic, Nerd Rage, Andre Mula, Mike Reguera, Giorgio, that guy with 2 names, Light Nero, Maxi Obsess, The King of Harems, Kevin McGuire, Jigstar, and Chromchan but JJF. That's all for the video. See you some other time.